Hey guys, Joe Mayo here, and here we are in Kingman, Arizona, actually outside of Kingman, Arizona. And these 6 homes you see here were model homes for what was to be a big master plan community with about 12,000 homes, golf course, shopping, fire departments, the whole 9 yards. And we traveled 2.5 hours to get down here, and now they're for sale. Hard to believe. They've been sitting here for 17 years, just a shell of what they were, as people have gone through them and tore out the plumbing, the electrical, the fixtures, bathtubs, everything they could get their hands on. So they've been sitting here all this time, and once you know it, when we get down here, it's fenced off and says no trespassing. But nonetheless, I thought I'd tell you the story about these. The master plan community was back in the mid 2000s, and in 2008, when the crash happened, this was abandoned. And these model homes that were complete at the time have been sitting here, and like I said, people have gone through them and just trashed them. But they are for sale now, all except one. And I think the one that's not for sale might possibly have been sold. I can't find information on it. But I can definitely see repairs have been done to it from the outside. And this property, all these properties around the house were totally grown in with all this brush around it and everything just a few months ago from one of the videos I've seen. But now you can see it's been cleared out, and these are for sale. One note on the realtor's page, it does say no utilities. Now, there were obviously utilities here when these were set up as model homes. So I don't know what happened to the utilities, but I don't know. Even at those prices, I think these things have been sitting out in the elements and open to the elements for so long. It's going to take a lot of work. And inside, some of the walls are torn out, and they need quite a bit of work. If you're a carpenter or something, maybe this is the place for you, but I think for the average person, they're going to spend more trying to fix it up than it's worth. But I don't know. What do you think? Would you want to live out here? I mean, I'd want to live out here, but I think these are in too rough a shape for me. So anyway, that's kind of the story of Silverado Ranch, which is what it was called. So there you go. Okay, we are in Chloride, Arizona. It is on our way back from Kingman, back to Las Vegas, and we're going to visit the famous Purcell murals that were painted by artist Roy Purcell in 1966. Wow, almost 60 years ago. How about that? And Roy Purcell painted what he calls The Journey, which is a 2,000 square foot set of murals on some boulders about a mile and a half outside of town. So we're heading off-road to try and find him. And as I'm reading, it says Roy Purcell is well recognized throughout the Southwest. His artwork can be found in collections such as major international corporations, a Standard Oil Company, Dow Chemical, and the Royal Bank of Canada. He is represented in his collections many well-known figures, including Clint Eastwood and Dale Robertson. So we're going to head up there and check that out. So the Desperado opened in 1994 with the Buffalo Bills Casino. It was their hook to get people to come out. This is in Primm, Nevada, which is on the California-Nevada border. So there's really nothing out here at the time except for Whiskey Pete's across the street and the Primm Valley Casino and Buffalo Bills that were all owned by the same people. And Hook, what a hook it was. You know, like I said, this was the longest, tallest, fastest coaster in the world at its opening. So it definitely drew some crowds. And sadly, yeah, with the COVID pandemic, it closed and hasn't been reopened since. But the unique thing about this was, if you look here, you can see that, the lift hill starts in the casino. And the cars go through the casino, and this is the lift hill, which is 209 feet tall. I couldn't find no information, but if I remember correctly, they went underground, as you can see here if you look down there, to make the first drop 225 feet. Somehow I think they were restricted on the height of this coaster. It could only be like 209 feet or 210, something like that. So it went underground to make it a 225-foot first drop. And what a drop it was, I'm going to tell you. That was awesome. I have ridden it quite a few times in the past, and I love that drop. It reminds me of the Magnum XL in Cedar Point, Ohio, if you've ever been on that one. But yeah, we miss this one. I don't know if I could ride it anymore. Between a serious bicycle crash and a head-on collision in my truck, and yeah, I've had a lot of things go on in the last so many years, so I don't know that I could get on it. This thing pulls 4Gs at its peak, and I got to be honest, it's a great coaster, but it is a little rough. So yeah, I don't know that I would chance it anymore. I feel like a delicate flower anymore. So there you go. But hopefully one day it will reopen to the public. Well, if they ever reopen the Desperado and you do make it to Primm, Nevada, do go inside. Of course, you got to go inside. First up, they have good food, but also they have the Bonnie and Clyde death car, the car that Bonnie and Clyde, the infamous criminals, were ambushed, shot, and killed in. So here it is here. Check it out. On to the Wheel of Misfortune. Back in 2012, a graffiti artist named Aware breached security at this abandoned mining site just outside of Las Vegas. He and his crew painted a massive Wheel of Fortune style wheel. Most of the spaces in the wheel say $0, but other contain such upbeat messages as lose a home, lose a job, bank owned, and lose all hope. The artist reserved one space for himself, and the sheer magnitude of this work is impressive. The Wheel of Misfortune is about 250 feet wide, and it was painted inside one of several abandoned thickener pits in the Three Kids Mine, operated from 1917 to 1961. And this video here I took was from January of 2024, and you can see this massive pit. It's got to be, 200 feet deep. And later in the video, I have current shots from March of 2025, and you'll see this pit almost completely filled in. And, of course, the Wheel of Misfortune has been destroyed, but kind of a cool thing. But they say this is a very toxic site, and they're cleaning up and developing it for new homes. How about that?